Try again. All right. Um, all right. Please can you confirm you can see my screen?
Yes, can.
Okay.
Please
All right.
confirm if you can see our screen.
Yes, we,
Yes,
yes, I
All right.
can.
Great. Great. So
I
let's start.
can. I cannot see it.
Okay. If you can't see it, I'm sure it's probably the internet. So it will come through in a few seconds.
Okay,
All right.
thanks.
So yes, thank you. So we're here to learn about Power Apps, right? And who is Foyin? Moji has spoken extensively about who I am and what I do. These are my handles. I won't dwell too much on it. I'm a Microsoft MVP in business applications. So business applications involves Power Apps, Power Automate, and a couple of other tools. An MVP is a Microsoft most valuable professional. That's basically what it means, most valuable professional. So I'm currently with Avanade. I all of these things here. I like to dance, just to tune it down a bit and less professional. I like to dance. I like music a lot. I also like to read and I enjoy traveling. I founded Textile Labs. We've spoken about that. I'm also a member of the Dynamics Con Advisory Team, which is a team that is based in the US, and our focus is to drive communities around Power Platform and Dynamics. One of the advisory members, just organizers, we organize community events, and the last one we had 7,000 plus members join us all over the world. So it's really good. These are my handles. I'll suggest you follow me because I post a lot of things around the Power Platform and Power Apps and things that are new and coming. And my video is here. I think Moji has shared that already. All right, so let's get into it. It's not about me. Let's do this. I want to play this video for you. And the reason I'm playing this video is because I want to open up your mind to possibilities.
I don't just want to make a living, I want to make a difference. When I left school at 16, my dad was working in Heathrow at the time, and this opportunity came up as becoming a security officer. I thought, what a great opportunity,
Oops.
My dad used to take me here to watch seaplanes and everything. So why not work for a company or an airport like Heathrow? I've been a security officer for 13 years. When I saw the amount of paper and time we were spending, I saw an app would be a great solution for these problems to be solved. About a year ago, I started learning about the Microsoft programs. I went home and I looked at a blog from PowerApps, and it said, this is how you can build an app. And I thought, why doesn't no one know this? Because this could have so much potential to change so many things. We have saved 11,000 sheets of paper and saved around 288 hours of manual input data. Going from paper to digital has been amazing. It doesn't matter what your skill levels are like, anybody can build this app.
Him with his community of super users have created 17 Power Apps that are already being used across our airport, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
My name is Sam Saini, and I'm a IT user adoption specialist at Heathrow. There's no limit of what you can create with new technology. I'll create a new career.
All right. So I play this video and I play it every time I have a similar session because it completely inspires me. I've watched this video over 20 times, and every single time I watch it, I get inspired because Summit is or was a security officer, like we heard in the video. And from there, he saw that there was a problem in his organization. And I use this example because everybody knows Heathrow Airport, right? So you can all relate to it. He saw there was a problem in his organization, and he thought, why can't I solve this problem, right? And he got curious, started reading Power Apps on his own, started building applications. And by virtue of the value that the applications brought into the organization in terms of saving paper, saving time, improving their operations and their processes, he was immediately removed from a security officer to an IT user adoption specialist. And you can see from the officer that will be standing by the gate and say, no water, you have to drop that, you can't take this on board. He now became someone who had a proper desk and a table and started solving problems. So, like I always say in this story, that I'm sure that they would have promoted him to that role before they go back and look at the certification he has, or the qualification he has, to say, Oga, maybe you don't have a BSc, and say, oh, you need to get a BSc or something. But by virtue of the value he brought in, he was already taken out of security officer and put in a completely different role. So purpose of this video is, it doesn't matter what your background is, it doesn't matter what educational qualification you have, it doesn't matter whatever it is. He was a security officer, his father was a security officer, right? What is important is your passion to learn, right? And that's what is going to make you understand what it is I want to do here today. So this is our agenda for today. I'll talk a bit about the Power Platform and take us into an introduction to Power Apps. Then I'll talk a bit about AI in Power Apps, different controls that we have, and we're going to build our first app today, right? So I want to appeal to us. Let's pay attention. It's just going to be 1 hour. I'm counting my 1 hour from when I started talking. So let's give it optimum attention, and I'm sure that we can all understand this. Okay. So let's get into it. There is a surging digital demand for more applications, right? In the next few years, we're going to have a demand of 500 million more apps. And guess what? We don't have enough developers to do this, right? By statistics in the US is going to have a shortfall of 1 million developers who can meet up with this demand. And these 500 million applications are the summation of the number of apps that have been required for over 40 years. And that's what we're going to need in the next few years. And we don't have enough pro developers to do this, right? And seeing the whole incidents that happened with the great lockdown, where 42% of employees have started to work remotely, you can tell that the need for applications are going to rise even faster than the projections, because all the things that we've been doing through paper before cannot work anymore, because people are not sitting in the same location. Everyone is working from different places, and remote work is here to stay. It is the new normal, and it's going to be here. So what does this mean for us? Are we going to teach everyone how to code and make everyone become pro devs? Do we think that's possible? Of course not. It's not going to work, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to turn everyone into a developer through low code. And that is one of the platforms we're talking about today, Power Apps, through the low code platform, where without learning how to code, you can actually start to build applications. That is the only way we can meet up with the demand of 500 million plus applications coming in the next few years. And what's the idea of low code? Low code is to empower everyone, whether you're a business user, whether you're an IT admin, whether you're a pro developer, whoever you are. Low code is to empower you to create these applications. And the answer is the Power Platform. So Power Apps is one of the tools in the Power Platform. So the other, I will call them siblings of the Power Apps, is Power BI, which most of us are very familiar with from the great work everything on data is doing, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agent. But our focus for today is Power Apps. All right. And what's another good news? Over 86% of Fortune 500 companies are using Power Apps. So you can see a few of the companies there: Standard Bank, Arriva, Heathrow, like we saw, Autoglass, Pepsi. But why should I care? All these companies are international firms. I'm in Nigeria. One of the reasons why you should care is, as far as I'm concerned, every organization with Office 365 will use Power Platform. It's a given. And the rate at which Microsoft is pushing Power Platform is amazing, because now with Microsoft Teams, you can start to build your applications at no cost. So once any organization has Teams, they can start to extend into the Power Platform, right? And that is what Microsoft has started to do. So any organization that has Office 365, if they're not using Power Platform now, they will eventually use it. And how many organizations are we talking about? We're talking about over 1 million organizations all over the world using Power Platform. Another reason why you should care is, like I said, 42% of everyone is working remotely now. So prior to COVID, you would not see a lot of remote offers, but now you can see remote offers. So you can be sitting in Nigeria working for organizations in the US, organizations in Europe, and delivering. You don't necessarily have to be there physically. That is what remote work has brought into play. And that is the advantage of being an IT person who knows these skills, right? So that's why you should care, because even if an organization is based in the US, it can still pay you dollars for the value you are bringing to the table. Now, remember, Sammy's story is all about value, right? And that's why we are here today. Okay. So what is Power Apps, right? I've just sensitized us on why we need to understand it, what's the need for you, what's the benefit for you, what the future is, right? 5 years ago, data was not so known. Now data is the new oil. Everyone is talking data. Guess what? Another 5 years from now, citizen development will be a no-brainer. Everybody will need to know this, how to do this themselves, right? It will become more like, can you use Excel and Word? Like I always say, a few years ago, when we're writing our CV, for those of us that are a bit older, we put Word and Excel in our resume as skills. Now I don't put it in my resume anymore, because like saying, I know how to write. It's expected that I should know how to write if I'm a graduate. That's how these tools will become in a couple of years' time, right? So you've made the right choice to be here today. So what is Power Apps? It is a low-code development environment for building custom applications to meet the needs of the business, right? And this platform, when we say low code, what do we mean? No code, low code, what do we mean? It means that you do not need to understand programming language to develop these applications, right? So Power Apps is like a mix of PowerPoint, a mix of Excel, and you use this to build your applications, right? And it also allows us to, while building these applications, access data from hundreds of different sources. Examples are SQL, examples are SharePoint, different databases. Power Apps can connect to it, right? And these applications can be used over the web and also on your mobile devices. So that's why it's really good. Android, iOS, Power Apps is compatible with them, right? Some of the examples of the apps you can build are training feedback app, a training attendance app, leave request, how tracking your inventory, timed assessments, expense app, all of these processes that we work with daily where we are using paper or lots of Excel sheets. Power Apps can be used to resolve that. Okay, so I'll say we have different variations of Power Apps, as I like to call it. We have the Canvas application, which is our focus for this training. We have the model-driven app, and we also have what we call the Power Apps portals, right? So Canvas apps, we can build them. Everything I've been explaining depicts the Canvas apps, the model-driven apps, and the portal. But model-driven app is more designed as a component focused approach, right? And most of the time is used in extending tools like dynamic CRM, right? And then the Power Apps portals is used like a website. So you need to get information from your users or from your customers, and they need to pass this information through some medium. Power Apps portal comes to play. But our focus for today is the Canvas apps. Now let's talk a bit about AI, right? I just want to talk about this so you start to know the kind of interesting things that are available in Power Apps. One of the things that we have in AI is the form processing, right? So once you scan a form, Power Apps is you're able to train your model to automatically pick some of the fields that are in the form. So maybe you're tracking an invoice and you have invoice date, you have amount, you have total figure. Once you load that form in Power Apps, it automatically picks those figures and drops them into the fields there, and you can send it directly to your database, wherever that is. So what will have been the alternative to doing that? Maybe you have to enter the information one after the other by hand, and that will take a long time. So this is what form processing brings in. We also have object detection, where you can train your model to understand what objects look like. So for example, you can use this in a case where you're trying to count for storekeeping, you're trying to count how many bottles of Coke are left on the shelf. So you train your object to understand, to recognize Coke. Just do that by loading a lot of images of Coke into the object, and the object understands that, oh, this is what Coke looks like, right? So when you take your Power Apps and you scan where the crate of Coke is, it's able to count how many bottles of Coke are left. So this really helps operational efficiency rather than counting it one by one. Power Apps can do this. It can also help with prediction, predicting what will happen based on data that it has, and it helps with text classification, right? Text classification makes it easy for you to analyze data. Okay, so let's talk now more about Power Apps. So in Power Apps, we have what we call controls. We have what we call controls. You hear controls a lot, and you need to understand what controls means. So I'll take questions right at the end of my presentation before we go into the demo. Now, the assumption of this class is that you don't know what Power Apps is. You've never used the application before. So that's why I'm starting like from the very bottom of it. So when we talk about controls in Power Apps, we're talking of different things like you can see here, talking about labels, talking about a button, talking about galleries, talking about data tables, talking about forms, talking about medias. So controls are the things that you use to build your application. So for example, when we talk about a label is just something that shows you what that field is for. So for example, if you are filling a form on the internet and they say name and put a text box under it, right? That name is called a label. The field under it is called a text input in Power Apps. Then we have the button. We're all familiar with buttons. You click here, something happens, right? You have galleries. Galleries is used to show you a set of information in a particular window. So don't worry, I'm going to go into the app and show us all of this so we can have the picture in our heads. Then we have control properties. So for each of these different controls, we have what we call properties. So a simple example is you would say Foyin is a control. That's me, I'm a control, right? And what are my properties? I'm dark in color. I'm fine. I'm tall. I'm about 5'12". So all of those things are properties of Foyin because Foyin is a control. So when you have a label, you have the fonts, the color, the feel, the height, the width, the visibility, whether you want people to see it or not. All of these are properties of this label. Similar with the button. When you have a button, so you have properties of the button. So you can say what text, that's what you want to write on the button. When you select the button, what will you want to happen? What color do you want the button to be? Do you want the button to be do you want the button to be active? Like people can click on it or not. So those are the different properties of the button. So for each control, all the controls have their own properties. Now, some of the common terms that we'll be using or that we use in Power Apps is we talk about data source, which is where your information is going to. So for every form that you fill, online, you have a what we call a database. So you want to buy something on Amazon or on Jumia, and you fill in your information, your name, your email, your address where it's going to be delivered to, your billing address, and all that. Everything is stored somewhere. That somewhere is a database. So for Power Apps, we usually call it data source. And there are different places that you can decide to save your information into. You can decide to put it in Excel, in SharePoint, in what we call Dataverse, which was formerly known as CDS, or SQL on premises or in the cloud. And then we also have what we call connectors, which is what allows Power Apps to. Moji, do you want to say something?
I want to know. So people say they can't hear you. I cannot respond. Can you
They,
ah,
they can't hear me. Oh
yes,
my God.
I can hear you.
Oh, I
And
just
voice
realized.
is dropped. Just
Oh,
going.
I think I know why. 1 second.
I doubt because I can hear her.
Is it better
Okay.
now? For those that can't hear,
I
I
can
We
said.
hear her
couldn't hear at
too.
some point, but now
We
we
can hear
can.
very loud. We can.
Okay. Is it better now? For
Yes.
those who couldn't hear before properly. Okay. All right. So let's continue. So yes. So all of these are called data sources. Then we have what we call connectors in Power Apps. So connectors is what enables your app to speak to other things. So an example is Office 365 users. I want to get the picture of this particular person who is logged on at the moment. So sometimes when you log into some applications, you see your picture there. So what we can use to that is called the Office 365 users. Then things like maybe Bing Maps, right? Like an application that we worked on previously with that is able to read your current location. Bing Maps is what's behind Power Apps to do that. So we have loads of connectors, which is what makes Power Apps such a fantastic tool because it enables you to do a lot of things. Right. Okay. So let's move on to our demo. So Foyin has been talking a lot, Power Apps. Let's look at what it is now. For the purpose of today, we're going to create a simple application called a training feedback app. Now, in this scenario, please, can you hear me? Just we can just raise your hand if you can hear. That's fine. So we don't distract the class with too many yeses. Okay, all right, great. So for the purpose of today, we're going to create a simple application called the training feedback app. And what this application is going to do is, so let's imagine you're in an HR team, you are in charge of trainings, but every time people come for training, you have to give them paper to fill. I don't know if anybody has gone for that kind of training before, where what's happening? People are leaving. Moji, something is wrong. People are pushed out of the meeting. Okay, I don't know what happened, but everyone seems to be leaving. But those of us that are here, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm not sure what happened. Why people were leaving. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now just imagine that. So the problem now is you are the one in charge of training, right? And every time people come for a training that you have organized, that maybe other people across your organization come, then they feel you need to get feedback. You need to know how effective that training was. You need to know if the external facilitator was good enough. Then you have to give them paper to fill. So they will fill the paper form and give to you. Now your problem is collation. So you then will now take these 50 papers, sit down, open Excel, and start typing people's name. Okay, Florence, Foyin, Nora, Tolu, Idara, this is their name, their department, their manager, the day they came for the training, where the training was held, and the feedback that they gave. Can you imagine the amount of time you will spend doing that? Because you were getting your feedback on paper. So that's our problem for today, and that's what we want our application to solve for us. So let's go into the Power Apps. I believe we all have our Power Apps accounts set up. Please, if you have an account, can I see a show of hand?
I'm sorry, I don't understand Power App on account.
No, I just mean that, Moji had shared username and passwords with you, and you have been able to log into Office 365. That's what I'm
Yes.
trying. Okay, so that's what I mean. So now the first thing we need to do is this. For the purpose of this, our class, we're going to use SharePoint as our database, our data source. Now, you need to have a SharePoint site and a SharePoint list where your data will be stored. I don't want to talk too much about SharePoint, but we just need to create that location where our data will be stored. So let's go to portal, youroffice.com. When you are prompted to sign in with your username and password, please sign in with the username and password that you have signed in with already. So that's where I logged on to. How many of you have your laptop and want to do this along with me? Can I see your hand? Or do you want me to do everything, then you try it out on your own later?
I'm using laptop, but I had done everything on my phone before, so I'm having to see how I can do that on laptop. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
I did the change of accounts and all that on my phone.
Yes. But do you have an account, an Office 365 account previously on your laptop?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you should be fine. Once you remember the password, you should be fine. Just come to portal.office.com and log on.
I mean,
If you know the password, you should be fine.
okay.
So once you go to the link I shared in the chat window, you would see something like this, but you'll be prompted to put in your username and password first. So you can do that with the username you were given and the password that you changed to. And you should see what I'm showing you now on my screen. Can you still see my screen?
No, what I can see on the screen is training feedback app.
Oh, okay, 1 second. Let me reshare. All right. Can you see the Office 365 now?
No.
Yes, I can see.
I can only see FO.
Okay, it's coming up then if you can see FO. It's probably taking a bit. All right, please, can we all drop our hands, our virtual hands? Let me lower hand. Okay, so now, if you want to do this along with me, can I see a show of hand? All right, great. So let's start. First thing you need to do, go to portal.office.com and you see this page that is in front of you now. Okay, next thing, come to SharePoint and click on it. Next thing you want to do is create a site. Are we here?
Hi.
Yes.
Sorry, I was having issues with my laptop, but I'm finally on. So I've gotten to the very first stage, but did you say we should click the shared button?
SharePoint.
Okay,
That's this one.
SharePoint.
Yeah, this one. Can you
Okay,
see my mouse?
SharePoint.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, ma.
All right. So from there, you come to create site. Yeah. Let me cancel. Create site. Then click on team site. And then give it a name. All right. So let me continue. So I'm going to call this site training. We'll call it our training site. Training portal. Right. So you leave all the other things as is and click on next. Can I?
Yeah.
Any other person? Please, I don't want to lose us. This is really important. That's why I'm taking my time. That's why you are here. I'm not just here to watch me. If you are here to watch me, you might as well watch a YouTube video. But you're here to actually try it along with me. So when you are stuck, I can help you.
I can still see what you're sharing, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Let me share. Let me reshare. Share. Is there another person? Is there another person that can't see my screen? Okay, I understand that people were thrown out of the session. 1 second, let me see. I'm not sure why that happened. Let me. But can you see my screen?
No, I can't see it.
You
I
still
can
can't.
only see the
I can see your
expo, the
screen.
participants.
Okay, so maybe you need to join and rejoin.
Okay.
All right, so let's continue. But I'm not sure what happened. People are joining back now. So maybe I should just go one step back. All right, for those of us that I understand that we got disconnected from the meeting, I'm not sure why. Let me do a quick recap of what we're trying to do. Oh, do, do, do. Okay, so what we are trying to do is we're trying to create a training feedback app. And we're explaining that you need to see yourself as someone who is in charge of training your organization. And one of the things that you're supposed to do is collect feedback from the users whenever the training has been completed. But currently, you don't have any system that does that for you. So you have to pass paper to people every time they finish their training to say, oh, please fill this feedback form. Please fill this feedback form. And they fill the form. So then after that, you now have to sit at your system, open Excel, and start inputting the information that people have filled in the paper one after the other. So you would input Foyin, you would input Anu, you would input Idara, and the things that they said. Now, this is taking a lot of your time and you're almost getting frustrated because you have other things to do. This is not your only work. So we want to provide a solution to this problem using PowerApps. And what we're doing now is we want to create this training feedback app. And these are some of the information that we want to get from the users who are filling this information and filling this feedback form. So from there, we went into our portal.office.com and logged in with our username and password. That's the username that you know and the password that you have changed it to. So the first thing you need to do is you need to have a SharePoint site.
Oh yeah, bring my Bible.
You need to have a SharePoint site. Now, I explained data sources before. I said data sources are the place where you store your data. So when people fill this information, you want that data to go somewhere. So whenever you want to create your app, you start creating it from that data source. That's what we want to do now. So for the purpose of this demo, our data source will be SharePoint because it's one of the easiest data sources to use as a citizen developer. So in order to use SharePoint as your data source, you must have what we call a SharePoint site where you can now create that data source inside it. Right? So in order to create that SharePoint site, you have to come into this portal.office.com and sign in. Once you sign in, right? Once you sign in with your username and you can't hear, please can you show your hand if you can hear me, please?
I can hear you.
Thank you. Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. So now you come to this portal.office.com and click on SharePoint because that's where data source that we want to use. Now, from SharePoint, the next thing you want to do is you want to create a site. So our site, we're going to call it training portal. So that's why I put training portal here. This all you need to type. This and this auto-populates by itself. And then that's all. You click on next and your site is created. Finish.
Can you just repeat what you just said now?
From where? As in, where do you want me to start?
Creating our site. As after we get to SharePoint.
So you click on this S button here, and it takes you into SharePoint. Then you come here to create your site. Right?
Okay,
so when you click on create site, you have these two options. Click on team site. And then you have here where you put your site name. So I called mine training portal. I've used it already, so it's not available anymore. So create your own like this, training portal. And
team site.
Team site, please, yes. Okay. Then you pick team sites, and name your portal. Okay. All right. Now we have our training portal up. The next thing we want to do is we want to create our data source. So if you remember, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a training feedback app. And for us to create that app, we need a place where the data will be going to. So when people fill the app, the data can go somewhere. So that somewhere that data is going to is what we want to create now. which is called our data source. So you come here and you do new list. Then create a blank list. We're going to call this, what's the name of our app again?
Is it training portal?
Portal.
No, our app.
Training feedback.
Thank you. Training feedback. All right. So what's the purpose of this list? To store feedback from trainees. Then create. All right. So we have this here. This is our data source, but it's empty. So we need to now create the columns here. So let me come back to my slide. I said in our feedback, the first question you ask yourself every time you want to create an application is, what information do I want to gather from my users? What information do I want to get from them? Sorry, Obianju, do you have a question? I can see your hand is up. Okay. You can put it in the chat box, please. What information do I want to get from my users? The first thing I want to get is, I want to know their name. I want to know what department they are in. I want to know who their manager is. I want to know we have a title column. So we can use that title for the name of the training they came for, right? We'll use this for, just leave this one as is. This one will be the training name. I want to know the dates, and I want to know the venue, and I want to know what their feedback is on the training. So these are the fields that the user will need to fill in the app. And these are the fields I need to provide in my SharePoint list. So that when the user fills it, it has somewhere to go to. All right, so come back here now. So the first thing on our list is title, but you now need to determine the data types. So I believe most of us are coming from everything on data. You understand what data types mean. For each of your fields, you need to determine the best data type that will give you the most accurate information. Moji?
From everything on data. So,
And they are not
yeah.
sorry, it's okay. Don't worry. I will explain like somebody that doesn't understand data. Let me not make any assumption. Like we said, it's assuming that you don't have any knowledge. So that's why we are here. So we have what we call data types. Let me jump to SharePoint. Data type is basically saying in this column, what type of data do you want to gather? Do you want to input into it? Now, the benefit of using data type, most of us have seen this when we fill forms online, is to get accurate information. Because if your information is not accurate, what then happens is your data cannot be accurate. So we have different ones. Single line of text, that is free text. After I explain, I will now ask us from the presentation. Single line of text is free text. Multiple line of text is free text, but it gives the users more room for expression. So this has a limit of 256 characters. That's a single line of text. But this one has no limits. So the user can express themselves as much as they want. Location picks location. Number is number. What that means is in this particular field, only numbers are allowed. Then we have yes and no, only yes and no. We have person. The person field in SharePoint works with what we call Active Directory. So in English address book. So it's like you are on your phone and you are typing Moji. You know, as you're typing Moji, it will be bringing all the Moji in your contact list. So that's what this person field does. As you are typing the name of the person, it will be bringing in all the information about all the names of the people you have in this environment that starts with Moji. So that's the person field. Now, why the person field is important is if I want to collect, let me say, the name of the manager. Oh, I'm telling you the answer already. If I want to collect the name of somebody in the organization, it's always best to use the person field because people write people's names differently. So if I say, tell me your name, or yeah, even if I say, tell me your name, I can say my name is Foyin Olajide Bello. I can say my name is Foyin B. I can say my name is Foyin Ola. I can say my name is Foyin Olajide. Most of the time, you probably say your name correctly. But if I ask someone else to say my name, they can call me different things. So what happens in the system is the system starts to see each and every Foyin as a different person because it was imputed in different ways. So if you see Foyin Bello, it will assume that's one person. If the system see Foyin Olajide, another person. If you see Foyin Olajide Bello, no hyphen, another person. Foyin Olajide Bello with hyphen between Olajide and Bello, another person. So the system is seeing 6 different people, whereas it's the same Foyin. So when you want to start to mine this data, and that's where you start talk about dirty data, you know, when you want to start to mine this data, your information will not be accurate because Foyin is the one that gave all the 5 feedback. But instead of seeing Foyin as one person, it will see Foyin as 6 people, and you start to have a situation of dirty data, right? So that's why when you are building your app, you need to have the end in mind. How best can I lock this thing down so that I will get the most accurate information? That is the whole idea of using data types, right? So we have person, then date and time. Choice is like where you have options to pick from. Then hyperlink, currency, image, and others. So now let's go back to our app. I now want us to tell me the data types we can use for these different fields so that I'm sure we're following. So the title is the name of the training, the title of the training person came for. So what do we use here?
Single line of text.
What do we use for full name? For this full name, don't worry, you can leave this, but we can use person, but I'll use single line because I want to show us something. So departments.
Single line.
Single line, departments. Is there a better way to get that information? Any other opinion on departments?
Person or location.
Departments.
Maybe location.
No, not location.
Person or group.
Oh
You have to
well.
link it to your. Can you link it to your AD? Stuff like that. So
Well, yeah, but not. Yes, but not really what we want to use here. We're going to use choice. Hmm? Sorry, please, 1 second. All right. You can use person and group, but what that means is that the departments must have been created as groups in the Active Directory. If you don't have those departments as groups, then you have a problem. So another thing you can use is choice, because departments are finite. It's not infinite. So you know already the departments that you have in the organization. So you can use choice for that. Then, except for very large organizations, then the manager, what do we use for that?
Person.
Persons.
What about the training date and time?
Date and time.
Date and
Number.
time.
Date and time.
Date and time.
What about training venue?
Location.
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 Okay. What about comments?
Multiple
Multiple
lines
lines.
of text.
Multiple line of text.
Thank you. Okay. So we are following. Now, this training venue, I won't want to use location for this purpose. I want to use maybe choice, because most of the time as an organization, you will have for in-house trainings, you have specific places that they can go, maybe in the head office or in a training school or somewhere. So that's what we use. Okay, so now let's go back to SharePoint. Now that we have clearly defined this, then you can now go to SharePoint and say, okay, let me create these fields. So we already have title. We don't need to bother about that. Let me drag my slide here so I can see. The next thing we come here and do is full name. For the name, use single line of text. I want to show us something on that. So just say full name. Please, as a principle, when you are creating your fields in SharePoint, don't put space. Just know that. Don't put space in it, right? Because there is no space in the programming world. What you see as an empty space is not an empty space. In SharePoint, it's something like this. When you create a space, it looks like this. This is what it is backend. So it's not a space. You are seeing a space, but SharePoint is interpreting it as something else. So when you're creating your fields, don't put space in it. Right? Don't bother about the users. We can always rename it when it gets into PowerApps. Okay, so we say full name. You know them already, so you can be creating them along with me. Department. So come here, set choice. Please be creating your own as I'm doing my own. Department. So for me, I will just use a few very quickly. Okay, maybe one more. Oh, didn't click on save. Start again. Sure. All right. Then sometimes you may want to pick a default value, but I don't need that now. If you come into more options, you start to see things like require that this column contains information. So if you want to ensure that users fill that field, you can come here and make it required. So you can say yes because you want them to put their department inside the form. Then what else do we have? Manager, we said this person. So manager, person, is this important? Yes. Save. We come back here. Training, date and time. Training, date. And do you want to include the time or not? You can say yes or no. But let's include the time. Then you can say training venue. I said I want to use choice for this. Training venue. A training school. A head office. A annex. Is it important? Yeah. I say yes. Save. and we have the actual comments, multiple line. I'll come here and say multiple line of text. Be quiet. Sorry. Save. All right. So I am done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you are done like me, you should have 7 columns in your SharePoint list. Okay. Anu, do you have a question?
So I'm still a bit behind.
Okay.
I'm trying to create a site, and it was asking if I should include another email.
When you create your site, you go to create site, you go to team site.
Yes.
Then you go to, it will ask you for the name of the site.
Yeah.
Just fill the name and leave every other thing as default and click on save.
Okay.
It will auto-populate the other things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the next says I add additional owners. Should I just finish without doing that?
Yeah, yes. You don't need any additional owner now.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Checking up. Let me see. Any other hand up? Temilade, your hand is up.
Yes, please. I lost connection and at some point I couldn't hear. So I haven't been following. Please, is there a way that I can catch up?
Okay. I guess Moji, you can please help us answer on the chat window if there's a way to catch up.
All right, no problem. Temilade, please type the last place where you stopped on the chat. I'll be chatting with you. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anybody at this point? Let me see show of hand. Okay. Okay. The Florence, they are really I have 2 Florence in my class and they are wowing me. That's good. Okay. All right. Show of hands, please, if you are here. Oh, still have a few numbers. Okay. All right. If you are almost here, like you're already creating your columns, but you have maybe 2 more to go or 1 more. Those that put your hand up, please lower your hand. Let me see the other guys. If you're almost here, maybe you have 1 or 2 more columns to go. Let me see your hand, please. Okay. All right. So I'll talk for about 2 seconds and we hope that they can catch up. So what we have done now is we have created our data source for our training feedback application. And these are the things I want the user to fill when he or she is filling the app. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to come here and say integrate with PowerApps, create an app. Now what this will do is it automatically creates this application for us in PowerApps. So I'll call this training feedback app. So the name you are typing here is the name of your application and click on create.
Please, ma, repeat what you said now.
Okay, can you see my screen? Integrate.
Yes, ma, I can see your screen. Okay.
Integrate PowerApps, create an app.
Okay, I get you now.
To bring here, you put the name and click on create. All right. So this is our training feedback app. So we can see here that we have all of the information we requested for, or all the information that we created is here, and the users can input it. So when you create an app, there are different ways of creating an app. So I'll talk a bit so people can catch up. Let me come to PowerApps. Let me see. Okay, let me stay here. There are different ways you can create an application. You can create an app through the way we have just done it now, directly from SharePoint. You can create an app from blank. That means I want to start creating this app from the beginning by myself. We'll look at that next week. You can create an app from app templates. So there are various templates that Microsoft has made available to us, phone layout or tablet layout. You can create your applications from there. So, and these are some of the common data sources. We have SQL, we have SharePoint. You can also point to OneDrive. Maybe you have an Excel sheet sitting in your OneDrive, and we have the Microsoft Dataverse, which is Microsoft's native database for Dynamics and the Power Platform. So yeah, so these are some of the ways you can. These are different ways you can create your app directly. But what we have done is we have created our own directly from within SharePoint. And when you do it this way, it automatically comes with 3 screens for you: the browse screen, details screen, and the edit screen. You didn't do anything, just automatically created it for you. Now let's talk a bit about the layout. So this is the power. Chidima, do you have a question? Okay, no, I think it's still the raise. Please, you can lower your hands so I don't miss out those who have questions.
No, hello, this is Chidima speaking.
Yes, please.
Honestly, I'm totally lost. I was locked out, and by the time you came back, I don't know. I was just staring at the screen to see if I can catch up, and I've need to catch up.
So don't worry. For those of us that not up where we were, worry. I'll try to find out something that we can do about it. Okay. So just follow through on what she.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello,
we apologize. Yes, please.
Please, the training is really good, but there's something that would have been very helpful.
Okay.
If you are taking it on a very layman perspective, it would have been very helpful. Now, you didn't tell us where you get your SharePoint from. You just started from SharePoint and started filling the form. So many people are lost. So you would have told us, or maybe you showed us, is it from the team? See the team. After the SharePoint, this is the next step you take. I don't know whether it was a network break or something that I didn't get that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the feedback. It's very important because I may feel that I am, being very lame and as simple as possible, but maybe I'm not. So how did I get to SharePoint? I didn't want to dwell too much on SharePoint because this is not a SharePoint training. But maybe I'll just spend 1 minute explaining. Now, I explained previously that when you come to portal.office.com, okay, one step back. We have Office 365, right? And maybe I'll come back for another session where I can talk a bit about the Office 365, the modern workplace, and all of that. But we have Office 365, and Office 365 is Microsoft's cloud solution for organizations and schools and government parastatal. And what are the services available on Office 365? Your email service is there. Your Teams, like what we are using now, is a part of Office 365. And of course, all these other things you see here, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, online, where you can edit your documents without having to download them to your laptop before you can use them. So these are some of the tools that are available on Office 365, like OneDrive. Most of us are familiar with Dropbox, Google Drive. Microsoft also has their own OneDrive for Business. So most organizations are using this service because it's easy for them. They don't have to manage the physical server and the infrastructure to provide this service to their company. So they subscribe to Office 365. That's called SaaS, software as a service. The same way you use your Gmail, you don't even care where the server is. You just know that whenever I want to log on to my Gmail, I put my username and password. Please provide my email for me. Carry that headache. That's the same thing that's happening in Office 365. We're just saying, whenever we need to send a mail, receive a mail, please make the service available to us. And for that, we pay you this amount every month. So we are in Office 365. Now, a part of some of the applications also available in Office 365 is PowerApps, which what we're using now. We also have SharePoint. Now, what is SharePoint? SharePoint is used for different things, document management, like you can upload the document there and share with different people, both in your organization and outside your organization. That's one of the benefits of using SharePoint. Now, inside SharePoint, we have what we call a list, right? Which is this. We have what we call a list. A list is like Excel. The only difference is that instead of it being in Excel file, it is inside SharePoint. And SharePoint provide some other, the SharePoint list gives you some other benefits. For example, you can give access, you can manage access control. You can decide, this my training feedback. I don't want everybody to see it. I only want the head of training to see this feedback. You can lock it. All those things you cannot do with Excel. Then it's in a central place. So people can come here and make use of it without looking for you to send them Excel file. So these are some of the benefits of using these SharePoint lists. Now, like I explained before, when you want to create an app, you have to have a place that the data is going to be stored. You know, like when you use any application, you're filling a web form and you're putting your name, your delivery address, all those information. The purpose of getting the information is for it to go somewhere where it can now be used for other reasons. So now you are seeing yourself not as a user now, but as a developer. And when you want to build your app, the data must go somewhere. So that somewhere is what we are now creating now. Sorry, 1 second. So sorry for that. What we're doing now is we're now creating that space where all this information, as people are putting their feedback, it will be coming here directly. You don't have to sit down and take that paper and start entering it into Excel one by one. Once people fill it on the app and click on submit, it will just come to this place. So that's the whole essence of, that's how SharePoint came into play. That's why we created this list in SharePoint, and that's where we are now. So I hope I've managed to create some context around what we're trying to do. I hope it was helpful.
Yes, it was fine.
Yes, it was very helpful. Hello. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Please, and while we are on the training, after this meeting, can someone get to you privately where someone is not getting it right?
Right.
Can somebody consult you privately to get it through?
Yes, you can. Please, you can get. I'm always on Twitter, so you can follow me. Follow me on Twitter. My message icon is open, and you can ask me your questions. I'm always happy to answer.
You're not on LinkedIn?
I'm on LinkedIn too.
Are
You
you?
can follow me on LinkedIn too. I will respond.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you so much.
you're welcome. Okay, so I'm sure we have gotten enough time to fill our to complete our list, and for those of us, and we are back here. So now we just went.
All right, so can I say something? Please, if we have questions, type it in the chat going forward. Thank you. When it's time for questions, I'm going to read it out so that we can all complete the session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Moji. All right, so back to back to our app. All right, so we are here now. This is our app. It's created. Fantastic. So if you have gotten here, congratulations, you have created your first app with a no-code, low-code platform. Okay, so what are the things we want to do here? Okay, let me just run us through some of it. We have this new screen button here. You can use it to add additional screens. So in Power Apps, we have what we call screens. And screens is like, you know, when you open an application and you're clicking from one place to the other, those are screens in Power Apps. You can also change the theme. So if you are a lover of the dark background, you can change it to black. You can use this. You can change it to this. So that's what theme is for. The same theme we have in PowerPoint. All right. Now, you can, you know, when we spoke about controls, we said each control has properties. So for example, if you click on this label, you know, we spoke about labels. Label, if you come here, you will see all the properties that you can change on this label. From here, you can change different things there, right? Then we have inserts. So if we're building from scratch, we'll be using a lot of these functions like button, like a text input, label text input. We may use the gallery also, you know, all of these things. If you want to put in an image or the camera function, you know, the icons like this one, this one that you see here now, which is already there for us here and here, are coming from this icon, you know. So all of these things are available to us. Okay, so let's start. We have our form here. I think the first thing we should do is save. Just come to file. I use version notes because it's important so that in case you want to roll back, you know exactly where to go to. So I will say imported, just imported. So I know that, I mean, you can, whatever works for you, but I just say just imported. So I know that at the time I just brought this app, this is what the particular state it was in. So you come back here, then let's test, you can test your app immediately. It's working already. So if I come here and I click on play, 1 second, then we come to my form. Browse. Okay, so let's play from the browse screen. You come here. That's the plus sign is to add new. So add. Then you can now say the title of the training is what? Maybe we went on Microsoft's Word training. Now, okay, the full name. I wanted to show us something. Okay, I'll show us in a bit. Let me just put my name here for now. Department. So you can see the options that you created are here now. Then who's my manager? I will use admin because admin is the only other person that I have on these tenants. When did I go for the training? I went yesterday. What time was it? At 4. Venue. I went to the training school. What are my comments? You can see this place is small, but let's leave that for now. Just run as it is. Then we start to amend. Testing. And
Some people said after publishing on our apps, they are not seeing. You can just check out the screenshots. My app API is blank.
Yes, it's blank because you don't have any information there. I've not submitted anything yet. My own too is blank. I just have this now because I just submitted it. So what you need to do now is come to this plus icon to put in your first entry and fill this information and click on submit. Then it won't be blank again. It will look like my own. Yeah. Are we there? Please, let's try that. So I've successfully, if you click on this plus icon, you fill all of this information in, submit, and you see your data here. Your app is working. If you cannot submit, your app is not working. So then you now come back to your SharePoint list, and what do you see here? Everything that I just filled is here. So you can see all the information is here now, right? So let's try that. Then we can start making modifications to our app. Are we together?
Yes, we are. So just give us 2
I should just
minutes.
continue. Or I should give 2 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Once you get to this point, please can you raise your hand? So I get a sense that okay. That's that one's looking for. Let me give up. All right, so let's continue. Please, I don't want us to be lost. Please, if you are here, can we please raise our hand? Okay, Moji, can I go ahead?
Yes, you can. You can. Thank you.
All right. So now we have our app. But I observed a few things when I made the first input. The first one is that this comment section is too small. Do I need attachments? No. So let's start making modifications. So I'll do this. I will click on attachments like this. Not this one inside though, the one outside. The bigger one. It's called a data card. So the data card contains different things. Like this data card contains a star icon like this to show that it's required, an error message. It contains a data card value and what we call a data card key, which is the label. But I want to remove everything completely. So I'll just collapse this. I'm on the left side of my screen. Click on it and click on delete. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to increase this inputs because I expect that people have a lot to write and this text box is too small for them. So what first thing I would do is I would click on this and drag it down like that. So I think this is enough. Then what I'll do next is I'll click on this text inputs because you see that my testing is in the middle. It's supposed to start from the beginning. So I'll click on this text inputs, come to single line on the right and go to multiple line. So you can see that it's no longer in the middle, it's now on top. So this is enough space for the users, so that's fine. Let me save. Always remember to save, though your app auto saves, but you can also save it from time to time. Now, what the publish button means is you want everybody to see the change you have made. So sometimes when you're making a change, maybe you are not done. You don't want the users to see it. You don't need to publish until when you are done and everything is okay. You want everybody to see, then you can publish, right? So what I now want to do is, this is fine. I want to add a home screen. I don't like the way once you come into my app, it's just bringing you here directly. I would like to have a home screen for my app. So I'll come to new screen and insert a blank screen. Now, important thing to note is any screen that is first on your app is what PowerApps will load first for the user. So if you want to create a home screen, you don't put it last. You have to move it up to be the first because that's what they will see initially. So like that. I've moved it now. I just click here and said move up, move down like this, move up. Then I want to rename this. You have to have the habit of renaming your controls. Rename. I'm going to call this home screen. Right? Okay. So now this done. But my home screen is blank. What do I want to do? Let me add a label from here and give it a name. So I'll call this training feedback app. Because that's what it is. It looks too boring. You can come to this side, make it bold, make it bigger, like that. Maybe put it in the middle. I don't want black. Maybe I should make it blue because I'm using a blue theme. Then I may want to bring in a picture. So I come here and I say insert or media image. Put this here. But the image is blank. So you need to pick a picture from your system. So I come here, then I come to this side. I'm on the right side of my screen. Image, add a file. Pictures. I come to where is my training picture I downloaded yesterday? Yeah, can't find it. 1 second, let me look at the picture. Training image. 1 second. Pictures, then okay. All right, so let me try again. See my picture. Show why. Refresh. Okay, pictures. Okay. Oh, it's not allowing that media type. Okay, so let's see. How can I use? I'll just use this. It looks very dry though, for the sake of the example. But you can find a picture online to use for that. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to add a button. And say maybe enter. So I just selected the button, came here and changed the text to enter or login. Anyone you want. Okay, another thing you can do to your button is you can make it a bit curved at the edges so that it's not so boxy like this. To do that, you increase the radius, border radius. You can make it like 30. See, it looks nicer. All right, so let me pause here for 2 seconds. Do we have any questions? I'll save my anyway, so it's so quiet. Any questions? Hello? Sorry, please, can you hear me?
Hello. Yep.
Any
How did you
questions
get
so
the
far?
button, please?
The button. Okay. So I came here. You know, if you're on home, you won't see anything. You have to come to insert to see your label and the button and everything. This is where it is.
Right. Okay.
Are we there?
Yeah, seen it.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hello.
Yes, I'm with you, please.
Okay, my question is, after the launch and I get a blank app, what next should I do?
You click on this button, this plus.
Okay.
Wait, first of all, you play it. Play.
Okay.
The play button is used to take it out of edit mode to preview mode. You know, how will it work for your user? So you play it first, then click on plus.
Okay.
Fill in all of this information, submit it.
Okay.
Then if you close it back, it takes you back to edit mode.
Okay.
And you don't.
Is there any other question?
I'm having the same challenge you just spoke about. I've played it, and instead I'm seeing the delete button and then edit this item button. I can't see the
You are
other.
okay. You have to be on the browse screen. Come to the browse screen. When you are playing it, play on the browse screen. Can you see my browse screen? Then play. That's when you see this plus sign.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. So now I can actually log those things because before I was
Yes.
not able to read it.
Yes. Fill very quickly and submit so that you can create your home screen.
Just show the fact that just click home screen, the other screen so you can get information.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Amarachi, please go ahead.
Okay, does she have a question?
Okay, yeah, I've gotten what you said we should do. Just that I want this home page. I wanted to just show the app page so I can fill those information. Like it's
Please, can you type? There's a
So
beeping
you can
sound.
just mute yourself.
There's a beeping sound, so I can't hear you properly. If you type, I can see. I can read it.
Foyin, please go ahead. She said she has spoken. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So yes.
Foyin, we can't hear you. Okay, we can hear you now.
I was on mute. Sorry. So I was saying that when you put in your image, you might need to change some of the image positions, like fill. You just change it and find out which one is okay. Oh, so the best for my image is fit. I can leave it like that. Then you can change the background color if you want to. To do that, you click on home screen. Then you can see you can have a background image or a color. So all of this is just dependent on your design, your color combination, skills. Yeah. Anyway, anyone that you like. So it's not fine. I can use this, maybe I'll make this, I can make my text white.
But how did you get there? I'm lost. Thank you.
Okay, so I put my image in from coming to media image. It gave me this control. Then I came here to upload my image, right? So the image is here. You can adjust the image with image position, right?
No,
Then
about the background color. Sorry.
yes, okay. So now the background color, you click on the screen directly, on the home screen, because now what we're saying is that this particular screen, I want to give it a background color. So click on home screen. When you click on home screen, to give you only 3 options here. Then you pick the fill, and then from there you can select the color you want. So all we're doing is we're just rubbing powder on the app and making it look nice. So what I discovered that when I pick this shade, I'm using the shade of blue because I have this blue theme across my app. That's why I'm using blue. Then I discovered that when I use the shade of blue in the background, my blue text wasn't showing very well. So I now came to select this label and I changed the text color to white. Now, whenever you're talking of colors and you look at these icons, the one with the A sign is the color for the text. The one with this little buckets is the color for the background. So like this, even this text, I can still change the background color if I want to something else. Can you see? But I don't want to do that. So okay, so we are here. Now we have created a home screen. So I was looking better. Then, but if a user just comes here and lands here, then say login, nothing is happening because you have not said anything should happen. So the user is stuck. And they'll say, Florence, your app is not working. So let's fix that. So what we want to do is we want, when the users come in and they click on this button, we want them to come here where they can add their feedback. So from this home screen, in PowerApps, we have what we call expressions or functions. And that's the Power App way of kind of writing commands. This is what I want the button to do. This is what I want this thing to do. So there's a very common one that we all need to know. It's called navigate. What navigate does is it takes you from one screen to the another screen. So here in the navigate, I can say I want to navigate to my browse screen. You know, as you're typing, is also predicting what you want to type. So my browse screen. Then after that, you now say the type of transition you want. So we have screen transitions. You want the cover right, you want fade, you want cover. So you can pick the one you want and you close it. That's all. So what you're saying is on select of this button, navigate to the browse screen using the screen transition of cover. That's what this just means. Now, why am I saying browse screen 1? I'm saying browse screen 1 because my own screen here, where the user is going to put a new input, is called what? Browse screen 1. So if your own is browse screen, you will use navigate browse screen. So if I come here and I click on play and I click login, you can see it's working now. And you can see that there's a transition effect there. So new, then you can fill in all the information and submit. So that's we have created our home screen. The final thing we're going to do for today is create a success screen. Because now what happens is whenever the user comes here, log in, new item, fills all of this and submits, there's no notification that says your entry was successful. So I'll do that. Okay, I want to show you full name. I'm coming. I'll do that now.
Sorry, Foyin, as you are doing that, can you type in the navigate command you used on the chat?
All right. Okay, I can do that. So let me just explain. So now the user has filled and user just does this. That's all. It comes back to the gallery page, but that's not what we want. We want the user to have a sense of completion and exits of the app. So now this is the navigate. But please note, my own is browse screen 1. Yours may not be browse screen 1. It may be something else. Right? So just note this. My own is named browse screen 1. That's why it's browse screen 1. So let me copy this. Okay, so let me put my success screen. Come here, back to screen. Whenever I want to insert a new screen, we come to new screen and we click on success. So there's a success screen that Microsoft has put in for us. We don't have to do too much work. So success. I'll come here and rename my screen success screen. Okay. However, we still need to find a way to link it such that when the user submits this form here, this is our submit button. It needs to now come from here into this success screen. So what are we going to do? Who wants to tell us? To move from this screen to this screen. What do we do?
You use navigate function. Oh.
Navigate. Yes, we use navigate. That's what we use here. Remember, to come for thank you, to move from this our feedback screen into this browse screen, we use navigate. So it's the same thing we're going to do here. To move from when the user submits this form into success screen, we'll put navigate on this icon. So come here. Whenever you want to write multiple expressions, you separate it with a semicolon. Then what do we now say? Navigate. Navigate to where now? Where are we going to?
Success screen.
Thank you. Success screen. And we'll now do what? Put our transition. So I can say there are a lot. Let me use uncover right. Then you have to close the brackets. So now if I play this and I just say to here and I click submit item. 1 second. The uncover right, no. Let me use another one. Okay. Let's see. So you come back here, play, put in a new entry. Brand management. Okay, while we're testing that, let me just do this one. Now, we want the users to feel as you. Another thing you want to do for your users is you don't want them to fill any field that they don't have to fill so that they don't get tired, right? So what we'll do is on this full name, we want the system to automatically pick my name because I'm logged on, right? So the system should know who I am. So one, the system automatically pick my name from the system without me having to type it in, which was why I said let's not use person field, so I can show us how to do this. So what you do here is you come here. So you see this field shows that it's locked, but I want to edit it. So I have to come to advanced to unlock it. Then what I'm going to do is on default of this. So I'm not clicking on the data card. By now we should know data card. This data card, the full thing. I'm clicking on the value. That's this text. So I remove this here, parent.default, and I say user what's that expression again? My profile user dot full name. So this is another expression in Power Apps, and what it means is pick the full name of the person that is logged on at the moment. So you can see that I already filled my name there for Olajide Bello. So that way, when your users come, they don't need to type their name. This one is already there, so you can see. However, the user can still do this, and you don't want that. So what do we do to this field? Any ideas?
You lock it?
Yes, we lock it. So that people don't come and start tampering with it. So the question now is, how do we lock it? You click on it again. You know, I said that every control has properties. So what we're doing now is just changing properties. We're saying the default property should be pick the full name of whoever is logged on. Right. So now what I want to now say is the display mode. You know, take this one out and say display mode dot view. So you can see, can't change anything there again. So we've locked it. So that's how you lock out the field. So that's what I wanted to show us here. That was why I said we should leave it we shouldn't use the person field for this. Okay, so let me save this and publish. Well, then the share is the way you allow people to access your application. So while I'm here, let me just talk about share. If you don't share your app, nobody can access it, only you. So you need to share your app by typing the names of people in your organization. If you want everybody in your organization to have access, just put everyone. What that means is both existing and new people that come will have access to this app by default, right? But if it's specific users like admin, you can say admin like that, and you can decide whether I want to make this person a co-owner. A co-owner means the person can go into the app, can modify, can do different things, but cannot delete. It's only an owner that can delete an application. So that's about co-owner. Then this means they will get an email if you share it with them. If you don't want us to get an email just yet, you can uncheck this and say share, and the users automatically have access to your app. That's how you share your application. So say you want to send a proper email. After clicking on share, you can close this, come here and copy the link to the application, and then type your proper mail to say, oh, hello everyone, this is to let you know that as from Monday henceforth, all feedback for trainings will be done from this app. Then you give them the link to the application so they can click on the link, whether on their mobile, on their desktop, and fill the form. So that's how you share your app. All right, so let's come back here. Let me now continue my test. Admin. Speak a date. Venue. Great session. And save. Okay. All right. Why is it not navigating? Let me see. I think I know why. Success of the form. Okay, that is why. So the navigate should be on the success of your form, basically, not on the button in this case. So because in this case now you're filling a form, and what you want is you want them to only go to the success page when this form was successfully submitted. If you put it on the button, what happens is they can navigate to the success page. Meanwhile, the entry did not go. So when you click on your form, you now come to this property and say on success. It means navigate only when these entries have been successfully submitted to SharePoint. So that's what on success means. And we put the navigation here, and that works. But again, your users are stuck here. So what do we do to get them out? Insert a button and we say maybe continue or exit, whichever one. Then come here, save. So I can just say this is my final or published app. So I know that at this point my application was working. Published app. Save. Publish. I come back here and that's it. So if the users come here and they exit, oh, we have not put anything there. Okay, so let's put something there. What do you want to happen? I want them to navigate back to the home page. Navigate to my home screen. Home screen. Screen transition. Oh, and close. Okay. Just in the middle. What else? That should just say continue.
All right, Foyin, we have a question. Promise.
Tell me.
Okay, my question is after launching the app and you notice that you need to do some modifications, how do I go back to edit?
After launching there, like if you're in preview mode, like this?
Yeah, no, when you launch and you get a blank screen, like at the first instance, yeah, when you get the blank, yeah, and then I click the plus to do the fill up, and then I notice I have some mistakes there, like some of like the training venue is not like yours. So how do I go back to edit so it looks exactly like yours?
So are you trying to, when you say it's not like mine, like you don't have a drop down or?
Yes, I don't.
Okay, so that means that
yeah, I actually didn't get how you did that there. So yeah.
Maybe your data type was a text field. Okay, so let me explain this because we may have these situations. I will explain 1 second. I will explain that now. So at this point, my app is done for today. Right. So from here, I can come here. You can also make this a bit rounded and say 30. Then save, publish. So come back here. If I play it and come to continue, you can see it takes me back to the home screen. Okay. So my app is done. Now let me take questions in. Supposed to have a class for 2. I'm running late. Let me let them know. So let me address our questions now. Our own work will be to get your app to this point where mine is. Then we'll continue in our next class. All right. So now, sometimes you may get the data types wrong. So like she's asking me now, her own is not showing the drop down like mine. So what you can do is for some data types you can switch between, some you can't. You have to delete and recreate it. But if you come to your SharePoint list and come to column settings, you go to edit. If you come here, you can see So the choice field allows me to switch between data types. But if I go to say person and I come to edit, I can't switch, it's locked. So in that scenario, you will need to delete that field. And how do you delete it? From the same edit, just come here and delete it. Then create another one. Now, when you have done that, it does not automatically reflect in your app. You need to now come back to your app. The app will still be showing the same way. You come back here, you now come to this icon, which is saying data. You click on it and you refresh. When you refresh, it will bring in all the updates, all the changes you have made to your SharePoint into your app. Then you will now come back to your form. Click on your form like this. Say edit fields. Add field. Then you can now, if it's a case of creating a new field, even sometimes if you switch between data types, it may not change immediately. So you may need to delete that field. Just click on it, that data card. Click on it here like this. Delete. Let me delete my department. Then you come to this side of the screen, edit field, add field, and say department. Like that. Then add it. So most times it will go to the end of the form. So you can now drag. I'm just clicking my mouse, like I'm holding it with my mouse, and I'm just going to drag it to where I want it to be. Then it automatically reflects here. Then you can save. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Let me go back and do.
Right. If I can get it, when you're saying that when we edit on SharePoint and we just click on fields, it will automatically update. Is that what you just said?
Yes. When you edit in SharePoint and you, sorry, could you take it again?
When you edit on SharePoint and you go into the app, right, and click on fields, it will automatically update.
When you go into the app, you have to refresh the data source. Here, from here, data refresh. Then come to your tree view, click on the
We can
form.
see your screen.
Can't see my screen.
Okay, I can see your screen now.
Okay. So after refreshing, you come to this tree view. You know, I'm on data now. I have to come back to the tree view. Then edit the form. Select the form. Come here, edit fields. Then sometimes you add. If it's a new field, if you modify that particular field and it's not reflecting, you have to delete it and re-add it back. All right. Any other questions before we wrap up for today? I know it's a lot to take in, it's fine, but we would as we start to use it, we'll get more familiar with it. And that's like every other thing in life. Driving, learning to play the keyboard, singing, these principles are the same. So please don't get discouraged.
Yeah, so we'll definitely work on it. I think I have a question. I don't know if the other person has. So I'm looking at my edit screen, right? And the part for the submit form, where I'm supposed to connect the submit form to my success screen, right? So, and I'm wondering, there was a command that you used around for the navigation to navigate into that place. I think that was where I think some of us have questions, right?
So please, that's on this, whenever you're in this, anytime you're in a situation of submitting a form, your navigate shouldn't be on your submit button. It should be on the form itself. So you can see when I click on my submit button, there's no navigate there. Right? But when I click on my form, that's where my navigate is. On the success property of my form. And why are we doing it this way? If you put your navigate here and the form doesn't successfully submit for one reason or the other, the users will just go to submit screen and think that, oh, my data has gone. but it didn't go. So you have to put your navigation on the unsuccess property of the form. It's the same navigate formula, except that now instead of having browse screen, we're saying success screen. So when it is on the unsuccess, it means that it will only navigate to success screen when the data on that form was successfully submitted. So I hope that answers the question. Any other question?
So please, if you have any other questions, you can please speak up.
Okay, I have another question. Hello.
Yes, I'm with you, please.
Okay, yeah, in editing, like in the training venue, at the edit column, we have this street address, city. What do I do so that when a user clicks on it is able to choose something?
My training venue was choice field.
Oh, okay.
Yes, not location. Because sometimes location acts funny when you pull it into PowerApps. The location field itself. So that's why I used a choice field. And you can also make it free text if it's not, if like we explained earlier on, use choice fields when you have a finite number of options. But if it's that your users can go to any training organization in the whole of the country, then you may not know all of them. So you can make that a free text. But if it's finite choices, then you can use the choice column for it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we'll call it a wrap for today. Please, let's try to catch up, at least get to this point where you have created your home screen and your success screen and everything is navigating properly. You can submit, see your entries in SharePoint, then your app is good. Right?
Wow,
And if you
thank you. Okay. Thank you for a fantastic session. Please, I would like us to complete this task and post on the group. Please, let's complete this task and post on. So if there are issues, we're able to solve it immediately. And I also posted a link, but try and get your hands dirty and post this on the group. Thank you, Foyin, for your time. Really appreciate it. It was supposed to be an hour class, but we spent 2 hours, 11 minutes. Thank you very much. Please, before we drop, can we all, let's take a picture with Foyin. Please, can you please, turn on your cameras. Let's do let's quickly take a group picture with Foyin. Please, let's do that now. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Please turn on your cameras, please. We don't need to take much time doing this. I'm only seeing 4 faces. Please turn on your cameras. You don't need to look so pretty and all that. You are all beautiful in your own way. Please turn on your cameras. Even myself, I'm talking and my camera is not turned on. Please turn on your camera, please. Sorry. It's on this here. Okay. Turn on your camera, please. I can see a lot of people and their cameras are not on. Please turn on your camera, please. Thank you. Please turn it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Would you wait? Some people, it's their forehead that is showing. Please adjust your camera a bit. As in, if you're using mobile, you can just move it back a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Can see it's not like I'm looking like, I couldn't even do my makeup because I was rushing. Please, let's turn our cameras on. Yeah. So cheese, I can see someone's head turning like upside down. Is it me? Turn on your cameras, yes. Please just wait as I'm taking the pictures. I'm actually taking the pictures, so please be This is another one. So this is another preview. So please just hold on a minute, please. Thank you. Please, with our cameras on, please. Okay, perfect.
Smile now, smile.
Smile. Can you see the screen?
I'm the only one shining my city.
Please, can you see the screen? You can see that we are not many in this place. Please turn on your cameras, please. All right. Thank you, everyone. Okay, I can see someone. Whose head is that? Okay. Yeah, please turn on your cameras. Thank you. Thank you, Foyin. Please, can we just give Foyin a round of applause and say thank you to Foyin for an amazing session today. Thank you, Foyin. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Thank you, Moji.
Thank you so
Well
much.
done,
Thank you,
everyone.
Foyin.
Thank
All
you.
right. Take
We
care.
meet,
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
meet on the
so
22nd.
Thank you. Amina. How are you?
We meet on the 22nd, right? Of May.
Yes. Yes,
But
we will.
please,
Please.
just work on this. Don't go and work on it and post your app to the group. I want to see everybody. Okay?
Yes, please.
All right.
And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. Thank you so
And if you
much.
have any question, please reach out to me. I'll send us email, everything, and social media and handles. Thank you, Queen.
Thank you. Thank you, sis. Bye. Have a good weekend.
Yep.
With what? Because it's the jail, but investors don't have superpowers. Wait. Nothing to debate. Money you have altered deposit. I'm reading the signals to international. Wait. How do you know that? Come here. What are you doing here? What are you talking about? He's got a computer, so I'm using the banks to trace skills of the signature. And Jackie? What's closer? You get her out of here. I'm sick of this system. I really do. They're blocking the way out. I'll deal with that. Talking signal strong. He's here. He's close. Final listening. No sheet. At the moment, I'm really focused on the cell level. The gas means specific. Yeah. This is not the afternoons. No, because explosion. The abilities for what?